right. Happy Friday. JMart, what's going on, man? Happy Friday. How we doing?
Dude, I'm doing good. Looking to make a little bit of money back after last week, but we're gonna try and figure it out.
You and everybody else trying to figure it out. Well, before you feel bad about anything that happened last week, I guess I'm falling on the sword this morning. I'm still trying to figure out how the game didn't go over last night. What was it? No punts. Everybody going back and forth. 24-20 is the final score, and it was 24-20 last time I watched it. I turned it off. I don't know. I need to fall asleep. But, dude, I just hate complaining, especially to start the year. But I don't know how the linebacker chases down the running back, Sanders, to begin with. And then it's just a series of everything wrong for the over. Like, just let me have my 3 points. Anyway, I feel like it's so late in the day that most people know what happened yesterday. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, the Eagles-Cowboys game does not go over. Of course, it doesn't go over. That's the way gambling is. Once you think you have it under control. So, gosh, that's not the start we want. But I say that to say that you were in the same boat last week. So the kind of attention on you. Why don't we start with this? The Texas-Ohio State game. Everyone's got an opinion on Arch, and after the game, what happened. What did you see? I'm curious. You analyzed the game pretty good from the beginning. I've listened to a lot of people talk about it. It wasn't like you were with the consensus. I think most people thought, Texas' offense would play at least better than that. Why did they struggle? What was your takeaway?
I think the play calling was like really way too conservative. Like they're a team that I looked at and I was like, it's going to be short passes. It's going to be like staying ahead of the sticks, like playing well, staying out of like 3rd and 8s and stuff. And instead of staying out of them, they really couldn't stop getting in 3rd and longs. And then from that position, they hadn't set up a deep ball at all. They're kind of forcing Arch to make like mid to deep passes in situations that are like a quarterback's worst nightmare. And then you also have Caleb Downs, who I think is probably like the most dominant defensive player in terms of just taking a game over that I've maybe seen since like a Nakobe Dean for UGA. Like he just takes away the middle of the field on run plays. He takes away the edges, he takes away everything. He's incredible. I saw from Ohio State's offense what I expected. They didn't look anything special. It was a rough game for Jeremiah Smith, which I didn't see happening. Julian Sain was fine, but he wasn't the kind of guy I looked at and was like, that's a championship winning quarterback. I think I really just saw 2 teams with very, very young and experienced quarterbacks that just need a little bit of time to grow into themselves. And then ultimately Texas didn't do enough early to kind of like demoralize the Ohio State fans. So I think that at the end of the day, like Ohio State, the fans stayed in it, the team stayed in it, then the home field advantage kind of took over there.
What about, let's get specific. I want to harp on a couple things, see what you thought. End of the first half, Texas has a chance. It was like 4th and 4, 4th and 3-ish. I guess they felt like, hey, we're happy to be down 7-0 at halftime. We don't want to be down 10-0 at halftime. In retrospect, what do you think? And what do you think in real time, them not going for it there?
You got to go for it. I mean, it's kind of in Steve Sarkisian's like identity as a coach to go for it in those situations. Like I look back to like the Eagles choosing to just do a hard count instead of going for it from like midfield. I think it was like, I want to say like midway through the 3rd quarter. It's one of those play calls where it kind of shows lack of confidence in your team, and you don't want to give off that vibe to a defense. Like I know that like I look at the Ohio State game and clearly it didn't work for Texas. Like Ohio State just on defense looked dominant the whole game. But when the Eagles did it, like I know there was a weather delay and stuff, but you saw like they couldn't move the ball coming out basically after they did that hard count. And I think that you got to like stick to your identity, even if it seems crazy, as Steve Sarkisian has to go out there, has to make that play call. He's got fast dudes outside. He's got really good receivers, and he's got a mobile quarterback. He's got the kind of team that should be able to convert 4th and 4s.
Yeah, and then the 4th and 2 play, if you don't give the quarterback the option when they got stuffed on the goal line, if you don't give the quarterback the option to switch the play, which I imagine he didn't have that freedom in his first start in Ohio State. I didn't see any audibles. The Sarkisian doesn't really offer too much. It's a lot of check with me situation. But anyway, you got to call a different play and then give Arch the opportunity to sneak it if it's there. There's just god-awful coaching. I felt like they really took the ball out of his hands, like you were saying, at the end of the first half. And then he just didn't look great. They kind of felt the pressure. I didn't think it was a great sign for Texas. I thought it would have been a much better sign for, them to lose giving up some more points, but I'm sure Arch will be better. But for some reason, I just feel like the whole juju's gone for this year. I don't know if it's like the story. Is that how you came away from the game, or it's like, dude, it's September. It's not that big of a deal.
No, it definitely did feel like I mean, you saw the betting lines immediately move. They jumped, I think, plus 1,000. Like I think it went from plus 400 on Arch to win Heisman to plus 1,500. Like after one game, like people saw stuff they really didn't like in that opening game. I think it's a little too early to tell. Like the guy is, again, he's a Manning. He's going to develop faster than the average person. He has such minimal game experience against like a real team. Like I think his only real experience against real NFL, real college football defenses were against Georgia last year. And those games were already out of control when he comes in. They don't really give him a fair shake in those games. You got to give him more exposure against high quality defenses that he just doesn't get.
Why did he play at such a low level high school? Do you know?
It's probably one of those, like, I look back to like baseball and stuff. Like you have those really good like prep schools, like the one that like Max Free, Jack Flaherty, Lucas Giolito all came out of was like a really small school. Sometimes these small schools are better for like academics, and they're also normally like private. So it'll be like a little like they're a little more elitist. And again, he is a Manning at the end of the day. So
they felt like he was going to go where he wanted to go. So
he was going to get, he was going to get the opportunities.
The high school competition wasn't top notch. So that once he looks terrible, then you go to the extreme of, well, he didn't really play good high school quarterbacks or good high school competition, and he really didn't look good. So we'll see. I'm sure he'll get it together at some point, but I thought choking in the big game, not a great sign when you got to win a couple playoff games. What about Alabama? Let's go to that game. That's the biggest surprise on the board. It wasn't one of your games, but was that a one-off? Is Florida State really good? Is Alabama really bad? Talk to me.
Yeah, I walked away from that one really feeling like Florida State's run offense is just like next level. I mean, they have a quarterback that can run the ball for days. He's like Thomas Castellanos is legit. I know there are a ton of questions because he got ran out of the BC program, but that is looking more and more like a Bill O'Brien thing than a Castellanos thing. Like the dude's confident and he's amazing. And then they also have two more running backs that can both like carry the ball really, really well. I look at that game and I see Bama definitely underperformed, but I think by the end of the season, I think Florida State is like a top 10 to 15 team. And then losing a game on the road against a top 15 team really doesn't have like the staying power of a bad loss. Like a lot of people seem to like want to make this loss. I've seen a lot of people blaming DeBoer, saying that like they should fire him, all this stuff. I think it's very premature. I think they looked bad. They did not look good, but there's a lot to build on here. I don't think they came in as prepared as they should have. I think you like give him a chance because, like, again, DeBoer's beaten good teams time and time again at Alabama. Give him time. It's a new quarterback who, again, I didn't think looked particularly good at all. And again, Ryan Williams looked really, really bad for them too. So I think you got to give him time. Again, it's week one. There's so much season left, especially with the 12-team playoff now. You can't really like start like calling like saying the house is on fire this quickly.
So you're not running off Alabama. I was looking for what their odds are to make the playoffs. So that sounds like, okay, you're not running off Alabama. What about Miami, Notre Dame? How'd you think about that game? Could you see either team winning the championship?
I thought Miami looked incredible. All the concerns I'd heard about Carson Beck's arm not working were clearly crap. Like that dude was throwing the ball really well. He's got probably the best receivers of his career. Like CJ Daniels from LSU with that amazing catch. What's his name? Torrey. The true freshman. I'm forgetting his
Malachi something.
Yeah, maybe it was like Malachi Horton, something like that. But like he looked legit. Like I think him and CJ Daniels would play off each other incredibly. Really what I took away from it is Notre Dame's offensive play calling was, in my opinion, abysmal.
Yeah.
They did not use Jeremiah Love. Like if he's got an injury, just say it and rest him. But if you're going to have him come out there and basically not touch the ball, you're throwing away your best offensive asset, a guy that's almost been considered like unanimously the best running back in college football. And you're going to give him like, I think six rushes. And then he had a couple of like catches and stuff. And he was explosive every time he got the ball. They did not use him. I did not think the quarterback play was good. I know a lot of people said he had a lot of grit. He played with determination. I don't think he played well, though. Like, it was like he was trying. I just don't think he looked good. He came out super shaky. The Notre Dame defense did not look as stout as you've seen in the past. They looked a little bit undisciplined at times. And Miami, yeah, I think Miami offensively is incredible. I think they're improved defensively. I don't think they're perfect. There was that really bad blown coverage. Obviously, that gave Notre Dame the big play to put them back in it. I walk away from that saying Miami looks great. Notre Dame's going to need to show me a little more, but I still think, like, again, it's Notre Dame. Schedule's not super tough. I think they can be a playoff team still.
Clemson, LSU, you're on the wrong side of that game. Of course. So that's just one of those games where I hate saying it after the fact, but once everybody feels the same way about Brian Kelly and the night games and this, that, and the third. The surprise, though, was not that LSU won, right? Because I don't think anybody – it was a 4.5-point spread. The fact that it's 17-10, like that, no one really saw that coming. Talk to me. What happened in the game? Start with Clemson, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think the real storyline is Clemson. Like, I looked at the game, and, like, defensively, Clemson was Clemson. Like, they were a very solid defensive team. They came out. They looked good. They stopped LSU a good bit. They played their game. They allowed 17 points. Like, they should feel really good about holding the LSU offense 17 points. Like, that's a good game. Offensively, they were horrible. Cade Klubnik.
Like, before you keep rolling, they looked like they did against Georgia last year.
Yeah, it was exactly like that game. It was like Klubnik played about as bad of a game as you can as, like, a guy we're talking about. They showed a graphic. He was supposed to be like a top 3 pick next year. I wouldn't waste my pick on him. Like, he's going to need to show me that he can really play against a real defense, because he did not look like he could pass at a high level. The IQ wasn't there. The running wasn't really there either. He felt like really contained on the ground. I didn't watch that game and say, okay, this guy's doing anything at a above.
What happened then? Like, what happened? Because obviously that wasn't the analysis going in. Is just everybody wrong? Were people expecting a jump in him? Did LSU didn't do anything in particular?
I mean, I've watched Cade Klubnik for a little bit. I've not really seen anything like super special. A lot of this has been based on projection, that the floor is super high, that he's got the arm talent, he's got the athleticism. It's gonna show eventually. LSU played really good defense. Like, I'll give him full credit. Like, the linebackers were strong, the Weeks brothers were great, but I just don't think he didn't execute. Like, it's like he couldn't make the hard passes, couldn't make the tough decisions, just got completely, like, almost like anaconda strangled. Like, it looked like he just looked lost out there. That's not the way you want, like, your allegedly premier quarterback looking after his first game. But again, it's a long season. He can find it. He found it last year. But from an NFL perspective, I definitely look at games like this and say I haven't really seen him show it against a good defense yet.
LSU, are they going to be in the playoffs?
I didn't see. I mean, look, I think the vibes are different there, which is really important with the Brian Kelly team. Like, they win the first game of the season, which they haven't done in 4 years, I think. So, like, that's huge. And they didn't win it with their offense. They won it with their defense, which no one really saw coming. And
really,
I think
really good. Just, they got so much pressure. Almost every drop back. Clemson barely ran the ball. Keep going, though.
No, yeah, and I think, like, not only that, but Nussmeier was good, but I watched the game and I was like, Caden Durham looks great. Like, he ran the ball fairly well, and he was really good as a pass catcher. Adam Anderson wasn't, like, hyper involved in the game. It was what's his name? Like, the super tall tight end. Like, basically, that Clemson did not have a matchup for him. Like, they were lining up corners on a guy that's 6'7", and I don't know what you're supposed to do there. Like, LSU played great. Nussmeier made the hard passes. He looked really composed. He was much less, like, mistake prone than what we've seen in the past. So I'm really excited to see what Nussmeier looks like. He looks really solid now.
LSU gets a soft game tomorrow against Louisiana Tech. Florida, they're going to play South Florida tomorrow. Is that one of your games, by the way? We're going to get to your bets at the end, but is that one of your games?
No, I was looking at it, but South Florida is actually fairly interesting to me. They stayed with Indiana pretty well last week. And Florida is a team I need to see a lot more from. They looked great last week. But I think that's a really interesting matchup, is to see what does Lagway do in this matchup against the South Florida team that, again, last couple of years has been really tough for SEC opponents. Like, they've hung in.
Well, that's what I'm saying. South Florida, they beat Boise State 34-7. That no one saw that coming. If you're betting on these games to start the year, there's a few of these games where you're just like, God almighty, being on the wrong side of the Boise State game was a tough one. South Florida just rolled them. They're going to play at Florida tomorrow. And then the reason I brought that up is then Florida goes to LSU the following week. Somewhat of a trap game for Florida. They had an easy game last week. They're home against South Florida. So that's interesting. Something that I The games this week. Is Michigan, Oklahoma one of your games?
No, I'm staying away from that too. It's
Talk to me about Michigan then. With their freshman quarterback Underwood, rave reviews. He looked great, albeit they played against New Mexico. Did you get a chance to see him? And how do you see the Oklahoma matchup?
No, I think I watched a little bit of it. He looked great. Like he seemed really composed, really steady. Again, really easy matchup, like you said, but he looked great. The thing I really took away from it is that the Alabama transfer running back, let's say it's like Justice Haynes, I believe, looked phenomenal. I think he ran for 180 yards in that game. Was basically untouchable. If he's going to be able to run behind what I'm assuming and what's looking like a really good Michigan O-line all year, he could be really dangerous. And then again, take a ton of pressure off of Bryce Underwood in his first season to like really kind of see what Michigan can do. And that's what makes this matchup between Michigan and Oklahoma so scary for me. These are two teams that I really need to see more from. Like Oklahoma, again, looked super solid in their first game. They looked really dominant, but last season wasn't a great year for them. So I need to, and they brought in a ton of transfer guys. So it's like, I need to see more from them too. I think if you're just watching for the love of the game, Michigan, Oklahoma should be a very interesting game to see how it goes.
Yeah, that's the night game. Anything else from last week that you want to touch on before we go for this week?
Trying to think like, no, that's probably it. No, South Carolina. Really loved South Carolina last week. Lenore Sellers is, in my opinion, the Heisman frontrunner right now. He looked phenomenal. Dylan Stewart defensively for South Carolina also looked incredible. It's very possible that every game they play this year, they will have the best offensive and defensive player on the field. And that's not the kind of situation you want to be in as an opposing team. Sellers is like legitimately Ben Roethlisberger, but faster. Like he is a unit. He's hard to take down. He's incredibly accurate on the deep balls. Like South Carolina does legitimately look scary. I'm kind of buying into the hype now.
All right, last game I want to talk about from last week is the TCU North Carolina situation. It's hard to get away from it. It's so compelling. Bill Belichick is so compelling. The situation's compelling. The game was compelling. Like Carolina, I don't know if I can remember a game starting so different than it ended. Like so dramatically different. Like just you really thought for a few minutes there. I guess that's the power of Twitter, social media, because if you're gonna put your thoughts out in real time, it's like you can't really blame you for being like, well, it looks like Belichick figured this out. They went 3-and-out. They forced the 3-and-out. They go up 7-0, and then they get absolutely steamrolled. You know more about the players than I do. Thoughts on what the hell happened? Is TCU good? Is North Carolina terrible? Why did they get blown out?
Well, I mean, look, UNC lost a ton last season. Like they're going out there without Amarion Hampton, who was their entire offense. He's on the Chargers now. He's looking to have a great NFL career now. And Bill Belichick's having to deal with guys that he didn't recruit, or if he did recruit, he got to him late. Because again, he got the UNC coaching job relatively late into the transfer portal. He missed out on some options. And he's also clearly, from what I'm seeing from him, he's not really playing for this year. He's playing for next year. Next year is going to be his year. He gets a full high school recruiting cycle. He gets a full transfer portal cycle. I think he just kind of wants to see what he has. Obviously, you don't want to lose a game like that. It's just embarrassing, and the expectations are about as high as they can be for him. But I think he's trying to take it slow. He's trying to like see what comes to him. This isn't a year where he's like, look at it like Kirby Smart's first year when Georgia goes like 8-4. This isn't his team yet. He wants to build it first. And on the TCU side, they like staying composed in that situation is tough. Like UNC was loud. You could hear it through the TV. And they shut him down. They shut him up pretty quick and then just kept piling on. Like they looked solid, but I don't think it's like these guys are a Big 12 contender now all of a sudden. They look like a good team, but I need to see more.
Yeah, you look for clarity sometimes when you're having debates. The old Brady Belichick debate is like officially over. Like you now are just being contrarian. It almost feels like a waste of a debate. Like there's
it's a chicken and the egg situation in my opinion. I know a lot of people like. I think it goes both ways. It's like Brady helped make Belichick into the coach he is, but Brady wouldn't be who he is without Belichick being behind him and giving him the pieces he got. And it's like,
yeah, but then
are you on the it's Brady? It was Brady the whole time.
Not that it's the whole time or it's an all or nothing, but these extra 4 years terrible. Like it just, I don't
I
know.
think it's unfair for Belichick to compare his time post Brady to Brady's time post Belichick, just because Brady was able to waltz into a system that was like literally like top defense, great skill guys. Boom, let's just put Brady on top of it, and then yeah, it's gonna
No, I
work.
don't
Like
quite say it that. I don't quite say it that way. I'm more of the vibes guy. I think that Brady made the defense better with the vibes. I think that maybe it's the bias as a Ravens fan, but I compare it to the Trent Dilfer coming in for Tony Banks. Sometimes it fits it. That if Dilfer and Brady, it's a different situation. But those first couple of Super Bowls, you would almost be like, didn't they just not need to turn the ball over? Didn't they need maybe just a leader, somebody to not hold the ball too long and take sacks? And does Belichick deserve credit for the defense? Absolutely. Could any quarterback have just done that? I don't quite think so. But that's like the fun debate. Like we could debate that for fucking forever. The problem is we've had now 4 years. Like he had 3 extra years in New England, and now he's got this and Brady got the Super Bowl. It's just so bad. If you want to argue about just the dynasty, sure. But once you is that my time to move on?
no, dude, forgot to turn off my notifications. I guess.
There you go.
Trying to
You're
make
popular. It's Friday night. But yeah, I don't know. It's just bad. Bad look for him. If you can still have the intellectual conversation about the years that they were together. But when you start looking at the before Brady and the after Brady, I don't know. It feels I almost feel bad for him. And then I realized he's got the 24-year-old girlfriend, and then it's like I guess I don't
He's
feel that
probably
bad.
not too concerned about the football right now. Yeah, he's kind of living his midlife crisis kind of perfectly right now. You know,
How
I guess not
awkward.
even midlife, it's like a fucking 70-year-old crisis.
Well, it's just so awkward to be in the family. Like when you think you're gonna get to like inherent things, or like you're the defensive coordinator. Anyway, we don't do gossip hour around here. We can talk about her forever. Talk about that situation. The fact that they lose 48-14 is just kind of bad for college football. I'd be better if they were at
That's what
least.
I'll entirely agree on. His last weekend was horrible for college football. You have Bama getting blown out.
Right.
Colorado loses, which is, again, a big money market. They lose in a pretty devastating way. And then you have the guy that was like the premier coaching signing of the offseason get his shit kicked in at home. Yeah. Like, I think college football lost a little bit last weekend over basically anyone else.
And then can I read you some of these games? I don't know what we're doing. Like we got so excited last week with all these games. Now
It's bad.
FIU, we got FIU, Penn State, Grambling State, Ohio State, East Tennessee State, Tennessee. Georgia's facing the power that is Austin P. Oklahoma State. What do you say?
No, Austin P is literally better known for being like a consistent 16 seed in March Madness. Like if you know the name Austin P, it's because they would win their division most of the time and lose in the first round to like fucking Virginia.
Jesus, all these crazy games. Is Oklahoma State, Oregon? Is that one of your 5?
Nah, no.
All right, give me 30 seconds on that game, and then we're gonna go to your bets. Is Oklahoma State was supposed to be good last year? They were like, I think they had one of the worst, like whatever the projected win total versus what it ended up in. I'm losing. You know what I'm talking about. They were terrible.
No, they probably had like plus 200 odds to make the college football playoff just because they were like pretty consensus to win the Big Ten. Like outside of Utah, it was them.
Big 12, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, so talk to me because Oregon's they got a bunch of new guys. That was a game you got right. Obviously, it wasn't a good week for you. But we're not going to kill you over it. But that was a game you got right. So I figured we'd talk about the Oregon game at least. And what do you think about Oklahoma State? Will that game be competitive? That's the 3:30 game tomorrow.
Yeah, they won't. Like, I just think Oregon's probably going to steamroll them again. They looked really good last week. I don't think Oklahoma State's done anything to improve off of last season. If anything, they just kind of lost Ollie Gordon, who, while he was bad last year, is a good running back. And I think that
Dolphins,
it's just
right?
a weird. Yeah, he's on the Dolphins now. Oklahoma State's such a fascinating situation, just because of like having the same coach for so long, all this stuff. And Oregon, I think it has something to prove this year. Like they came out and kind of beat the shit out of a really bad team and now get a chance to like kind of build up a little bit. They say, oh, we're going from FCS. Now we can be like a mid-major, or not a mid-major, but like a mid-tier Power 4 team. And now we can see if we can like turn this into like, can we beat like an Ohio State or a Penn State? And I think they're going to steamroll. I really don't think it'll be close. The line was what, like 18.5?
I need to check
for that game. I think it's like 18.5. And like, honestly, they should probably win by 3 touchdowns. Like, I don't really see it being close.
All right, cool. Let's do it. Let's bounce back. Last week's the mulligan. Got out of your system. Here we go. You said you had 5 games?
Yeah, I got 5 games here. Tried to keep the spreads relatively close because I felt like that's better. I wanted to keep it within like 2 to 10 points with some exceptions, but that's where like my mind was at, is like, where's the value in these, kind of like top 20 teams versus like a team out of the rankings? Like, what are we looking at here? So the first one for me, starting with the noon game, Illinois-Duke. Illinois is getting -2.5 on the road at Duke. Illinois looked incredible last week. I know it was against I think it was Western Illinois. They're horrible. They're not like a really dangerous program, but Illinois put up like 55 points. The run game looked great. Luke Altmaier looked very real as a potential like late round NFL draft quarterback. And they're a better team than Duke. The defense is real in Illinois. They look great defensively. I think the offense is more than good enough to beat Duke. And Duke, again, new quarterback coming in, has learned the system. Don't have Malik Murphy anymore, who was hot and cold. I don't see Illinois dropping this game. You're getting the 11th ranked team in the country, only -2.5 just because they're on the road. I buy that every time. I think it's really good value. They're a better team. Moving on. Past that, Kennesaw State, Indiana. I'm going back to the well. I'm getting it at 34.5. I've seen it at 35.5, 36.5. Kennesaw State still sucks. They got promoted from the FCS last year. I love Kennesaw State, local team. Ultimately, they're a really bad team. Indiana didn't handle business last week against Old Dominion. They're going to handle business here. They're a better team hosting them. Kennesaw State, not good still. It's pretty straightforward in my head. Moving on past that, Troy Clemson. Clemson's getting -31.5 at home against Troy. They're going to put up like 30 points in the first quarter. This can be one of those games where you see them just pile on at the beginning, never look back. They have something to prove because they looked horrible against the good team. You saw this happen a lot last year. Lose against a good team, dominate the bad teams. I think they keep doing it here. The next one I have on the road here, but Ole Miss -8.5 against Kentucky. I think it's a horrible line. Kentucky is, in my opinion, easily the second worst team in the SEC. It doesn't matter that this game is in Kentucky. They're a bad team. They didn't look anything special last week. Ole Miss, again, covered for me, looked really, really solid, looked like a team that can run points up on bad teams. Get Kentucky has a better defense than like we normally see. They should run this up. And then, past that, last game was Kansas +6.5. This game was, one sec, need to find it. Kansas +6.5, I believe, against Iowa. Shoot. Meant to write that down.
You're good. You're Missouri.
Missouri, yeah, okay. Yeah, Missouri does look pretty interesting here.
You said you had the colors right, but keep going.
Yeah. I like Missouri with Bo Pribula from Penn State. They look like an interesting team. I'm putting all my stock into Jalen Daniels at Kansas as quarterback. Last year was supposed to be his breakout year. Was very hot on and off. Couldn't really get it going consistently. He's looked great to start this year. This is a game, I think it's on the road, so it's a very tough matchup. His confidence is through the roof right now. He looks exceptional right now. He should be able to beat this Missouri team, who are good, but I don't think are good enough. This is a game I could even see. Again, I think he can win it. I'm taking the points, obviously, just to be safe, but Jalen Daniels is like very, very sneaky potential, like super sleeper Heisman, like hopeful this year. He's looked phenomenal so far.
All right, recap it. More the 5 games one more time.
Yeah, so we have Illinois -2.5 on the road against Duke. We have Indiana -35.5 at home against Kennesaw State. Ole Miss -8.5 on the road against Kentucky. Kansas, again, I believe on the road, +6.5 against Missouri. And then Clemson -31.5 at home against Troy.
Sweet. Tonight, Maryland, one of these teams is definitely not going to cover, and just the way college football is, one of these teams is going to lose outright. So if I made you choose which one of these teams, I'll pull it back up. I think it's 3 that I had. We got Maryland minus 16.5 home against Northern Illinois. Louisville minus 15.5 home against James Madison. Well, the other 2 are 31.5. Boise State.
Yeah.
They're not all covering tonight. Give me something.
I don't think I can see Boise State continuing to just kind of fall here. Eastern Washington's typically a pretty solid FCS program. 31.5 would be, it's coverable for Eastern Washington. And then from like an upset standpoint, James Madison has been exceptional since entering the FBS.
They're big dogs, 15.5. That surprised me.
Because they used to have Kurt Signetti, I think, came from James Madison, has moved on. James Madison has kept moving, business as usual. They could maybe win that. Like, I'm not a big fan of Louisville's coach. I haven't really been a big fan of Louisville's program, but yeah, I can see James Madison potentially winning.
Can you talk me out of the Chiefs? Because listen, I'm not saying woe is me here, but I thought about it last night and I'm like, should I just not bet for the rest of the season? Because how did this game not go over? Like, that's got to be insane. Like, the fact that whatever, get a game wrong, you move on. Not the first game, not like that, not a rain delay, not turnovers, not like that. But here I am, ready to go. I love the Chiefs. I can't be talked out of it unless you know something I don't know. I love the McConkey character. Like, he's one of my favorite receivers. But McDuffie, if I had to pick one guy to chase him around, I could find worse guys than McDuffie.
Is McDuffie there still?
Yeah.
He's just not coming back after this year.
Maybe not. I guess they didn't get the extension done.
Gotcha.
But okay. Yeah, he's still there. But how do the Chargers win this game? Because I just don't see it.
I don't really see it either. I have a little bit of money on stuff today that I would not recommend anyone else bets on because it is very dumb and just kind of more for fun.
I just don't know how the Chargers move the ball. I don't really see it.
No, Rashawn Slater is like brutal. You don't have Rashawn Slater. Like, what? You get Najee Harris back. If I was Jim Harbaugh, I wouldn't use him. I don't think I'd play him. You have Amarian Hampton who's able to carry the ball a ton. And then the other side of things is like, are you even going to be able to run the ball? Like, are you going to have the chance to do that? You have Ladd McConkey. I like Keenan Allen back in the team. I think he's interesting. Trey Harris is another super interesting option. And then obviously you do have Quentin Johnston still, or however you feel about him. It would take like Justin Herbert somehow finding a way to throw for like 300 yards and just making some exceptional passes. And then you need Mahomes to make a mistake here. The only other weird thing is the game is in Brazil, and when games are out of the country, things can sometimes just get super weird.
I just feel like Harbaugh's having a miserable time. It feels like the last thing he wants to do is I just picture him being miserable. Like, nothing is going his way. It's not organized. It's a little chaotic. The field's not going to be great. He's going to be obsessive over things that, I don't know. The Chiefs play all these kinds of crazy games as it is. They're used to the spotlight. I just think they're going to roll the Chargers. I still have the Chargers making the playoffs as a 7 seed. I just feel like I also hate the way they ended their season. That was just really demoralizing.
That was disgusting. Oh, yeah.
I like the Chiefs tonight.
No, yeah, I agree with you. I think if you're watching as a neutral fan, first off, probably shouldn't. If you're putting money on it, I really think smart money is on the Chiefs. I think it, like, if they're giving you 2.5 points too. I think that you're betting on, again, in my opinion, probably the most consistently good, great team in the NFL right now. I don't think that's a hot take either. I think you put the money on them. If you aren't, just watch it for Amarian Hampton. I think he should be super fun to watch. The running back, the guy who would probably be the number 1 running back in any other draft class without a guy like Ashton Jonty. He should be exceptional. He should be fun to watch. And yeah, my big question is, how's the Chiefs defensive line going to look? Are they going to be as strong of a run stopping unit as they've been in the past? Is Chris Jones still who he was last year? Is George Karlaftis taking that step forward? Is what's his face in the Reed in that linebacker unit going to be as strong as he was last year? That's what I'm interested to see more than anything.
That was the only thing in the Super Bowl that was the only thing, ironically, that played well for him was the run defense. I think the Chiefs are going to be great. I got the Ravens and the Chiefs in the AFC Championship. I just don't think it's too complicated with those teams. I think the Bills are the one that have a bigger margin with their roster in the regular season, have a drop off. Once we get to the playoffs, it's like, I can't really analyze the playoff game until we get there. But as far as who could only win 9 or 10 games in the regular season and really struggle, I don't think it's the Chiefs. I don't think it's the Ravens. I do think the Bills potentially could be in that category. After yesterday, it looks like the Eagles could be in that category. They didn't look great at all. What do you think, real quick, before you go on Jalen Carter? You're a Jalen Carter expert.
Look, listen.
What the heck?
So there is that clip. You can see Dak spitting right before Jalen Carter spits on him. Not justification. Dak is trying to get a reaction out of him. Jalen Carter gave him the reaction. It's stupid. Like, you don't spit on a guy. I've never, and honestly, you can break it out further than that. Just outside of a sports context, just don't spit on people. Like, I don't know how this became a thing. It's just gross. Like, it's a weird thing to do. He shouldn't do that. It's stupid, and he loses them. He really made this game closer than it should have been, because you watch that first drive. Eagles have no defensive plan to stop the run.
Jordan Davis, is it that big of a drop off? I know.
It is in the sense of, like, Jordan Davis has lost 40 pounds this offseason. He's coming in better shape to play more snaps. But this guy hasn't played like that level of like a snap load. He didn't play it in college. He didn't play it in his first 2 years in the NFL. Who knows if he played it in high school? I'm assuming he probably didn't. He probably had to play more snaps last night than he has had to play ever before in his career. He's very lucky there's that rain delay, because if that doesn't happen, like, he was probably so tired going into that rain delay. That probably saved his energy a little bit, but yeah.
Why can I still bet unders on props in general, especially on college kids? Like, I just don't know how many more scandals we need. I can bet the under on all the props: passing yards, TDs, receptions, thoughts. Just because I don't know when it's going to end. Like, I don't know how many more scandals we're going to need, but I thought one of the changes they were going to make, and then we can wrap it up. I thought one of the changes they would make after the Jonte Porter situation, and then the Malik Beasley in the offseason, and just thinking, man, how hard would it be for Xavier Worthy to be like, under 4.5 catches tonight? Okay, I'll make sure I can get 3 or 4 catches, and then I roll my ankle. Like, why are we allowed to bet the under? Is it as simple as these sports books are just so greedy? They want the action, and they just.
I think that is it. Like, it's like people always like, I don't know the specific number, but the amount of money that goes on the over versus the under already is like, it's a massive gap. Like, people want to bet the over. You want to put your money on someone to do something good, because it feels like it feels a little more rewarding than literally betting on someone to have.
It's no fun. Yeah, not to catch up. Nobody loves watching a game. If you're watching the game, right, to be like, I hope this guy doesn't catch the ball for 3.
Exactly. Like, I was looking at picks for tonight, and the reason I ended up going with some goofy shit is because the only realistic picks I could find were unders, and I don't want to sit here and watch a game just wanting them to basically not play football.
All right, like, so getting back to what? So is it just the greed? Is it just the fact that they want the action on the under, and they're afraid that no matter how high they set these props, if they don't offer the under bet, they're going to just be exposed too much, and that's just the end.
Yeah, I think so. Like, the way you look at it is, like, from an investing standpoint, you set a line at, like, say fucking John Mateer, just to use the guy that was accused of some of this stuff in college. His passing yards lines at like 218.5. Okay. If he hits the over on that, and you have like 70% of money's on the over, 30% on the under, you are still reaping in like a little bit of money. You're getting a little bit of money back. If you completely take that option out, you're just losing money. There's no return at all. It's just loss. When now you have the line set in a favorable way, so you do technically have a rake that you can take in on every single bet. I think it makes it so that there are community plays. There are always going to be guys that get 85% of the money on one side versus the other, but you are still able to take home that 15%. It's still a loss, but it's not a outright lose everything loss. It's I lose 85% compared to like gaining 85%.
I cannot wait for more stories to come out. These stories are amazing. The Malik Beasley thing is just over with. Apparently he's found innocent. Like,
I think he cooperated. It feels like he cooperated with an investigation. In my opinion, that's what it feels like more than anything.
I'm telling you, there was an article, I did a whole pod, it came out like the end of February about this guy named Shane who ran like a tout service, as a handicapper, who got picked up in the Vegas airport, like ready to leave the country. And by all accounts, like Sports Illustrated wrote the article, and then a few other people followed up. And by all accounts, he was involved with the Otani situation. Like, but there was nothing explicit. It was almost like you were on the edge of your seat for the next article, or like, is he cooperating? Because by all accounts, he's going to fucking cooperate because they got him. And it's like nothing happened, and then this Malik Beasley thing happened, and it's like, oh, I think that's tied back to this. And then it's like, not that I care, like my life revolves around it, but it is extremely fascinating to me because of my history in the handicapping service to think that the best way to probably pull off this scam, and then I'll really let you go. But
no, I have some more stuff to say on this too, because it is for me, it's a super interesting like subject on.
So the best way, so the best way to pull off the scam, if you were gonna have the athlete fix the bet for the under, is you would have somebody like Shane, who is running the handicapping service, who presumably has lots of clients and a huge network of people that are listening to what he's telling them to do. And you tell everybody to bet the over so that when you're pounding the under, it doesn't get flagged. Because the way you get caught doing this is the line movement. Is weird things are coming into sports books, and they have algorithms that are built in that are extremely sophisticated that basically can flag when there's unusual betting patterns. So if you want to get around that, I'm telling everybody I know, right, to bet over Malik Beasley's props so I can get as much money as possible. And as that's happening throughout the day, right, because the games don't start till nighttime and the bets come available in the middle of the afternoon, sometimes early morning, depending on the sports book. And you're just betting throughout the day on the under for the scam, right? Because you know what's going under, but you don't want to get flagged. So you're giving out the advice. To me, it was like the pinnacle of the scam. Because if you don't have a whole bunch of people that can offset the bet, then you're going to get flagged. So I'm reading about the Shane. I'm like, son of a fucking bitch. He probably got away with this a bunch of different times. And then something happened where, by all accounts, on the Jonte Porter situation, the reason they got flagged is because some jackass tried to hit like a 3-team part, some exorbitant bet that, the old saying, pigs get fed or hogs get slaughtered, something like that. But they got too greedy, and then they got flagged. So my whole fascination with it is, if you were going to pull it off, the easiest way to do it is to do it through prop bets and have the unders and have it damn fucking close. I don't mean to pick on Xavier Worthy, but why can't he just have 4 catches tonight? If he gets 4 catches for 80 yards and he tells everybody to bet the under there, and you have service that has enough influence. Anyway, what are your thoughts before you roll out of here?
No, my bigger one is, and I think this came up when I was talking about Malik Beasley, I think this was part of it too, is the extortion side of it through like an organized crime system. And I don't mean like some mob shit. I mean, same way that like running these gambling rings is organized crime. This is like an organized crime system. You get a guy, you have him playing high stakes, like underground poker games. He's an athlete, loses a fuck ton of money. Like, he owes you money now. Like, he's not from betting on games. He owes you money from other shit that he doesn't really want to have come out. You can extort him now into basically, you have to play bad for me. We can make money off of this. And realistically, the best way to do it is just super passively. Have an established like account where you're betting high stakes consistently. Establish that. Then just start like 10. Like, if you're a guy that's betting 10,000 a unit already, just bet that on the guy to do poorly and just keep an extortion racket going. And it would be dangerously easy for this to get set up by someone, dangerously easy to operate. It isn't the kind of thing that like is out of the realm of possibility.
You even went to the extreme of like owing something money. It could just be having pictures or having conversations that you never wanted to come out. And as an athlete, Yeah,
This shit exists on everyone. The more news that comes out about a guy like Otani is weird stuff. You hear about like the real estate deal out in I think like Hawaii or something where there's again more weird stuff from the Otani team happening. These athletes are not like these picture perfect people that you want them to be. And it's the sad reality of it. Like they have a public image that's been created for who they are. Some choose not to and end up playing that bad boy persona. Some like a Tom Brady have a like perfectly stylized image. There's a lot of dirt on these guys that if like a crimes, I don't want to like a crime ring were to use could make them a ton of passive money just by holding this over them.
Did you watch the Pablo Torre podcast on Steve Ballmer?
No, that situation is also really, really interesting too. Like
you got to watch the whole thing. That's one of those where you have to watch the whole thing and really, really take it all in because it goes to the same thing we're talking about. Like that competitive edge sneaks in. You don't know the power structure and what's going on. But the most fascinating thing about that situation is the punishment is, I'm going to be punished by, aren't I your boss? Aren't I responsible for the valuations going up because I have all the money? So it's like, are they really going to hold him responsible? Do other NBA owners do this as well? And they don't necessarily want to bark up that tree. Who knows? But it is fascinating when you're like, oh, as soon as we need a defender, Cuban, you're a great communicator. Can you come out and can somebody please make the pro-owner argument for everybody? And then Ballmer tried to do it himself last night. And I'm on like the edge of my seat with all this stuff because to me, I can't ignore it. As much as I want to just watch sports and not think about the money, if they're going to throw money in my face, I can't listen to a podcast. I don't know about you, but I can't listen to a single podcast or watch a single sporting event without the gambling being just shoved down my throat.
not yet.
And all they do is promote gambling, and then the contracts. So when you get the insight into being like, how is this shit, like, what is really going on? Because that's what I would do if I was the richest owner. I'd be like, what are they going to do? Be mad at me? I'll just give the guy extra money and we'll just keep it moving. And who cares? Because we're just all trying to make money. The NBA championship is worth what it's worth. It's just fascinating. The gambling from the player side, the owner side. Oh boy! All right, I can keep talking, or we could. Well, what are you doing tonight? What's the plan? What is somebody on Friday night? We got Georgia tomorrow. You going to the game?
Yeah, I'm going to the game, so I'm probably gonna take it relatively easy tonight. Game's at hoping it's 3:30. In my head, it's 3:30. If that game's like early,
it's gonna suck. Are you? Were you fun to hang out with during the game, or are you critiquing Stockton on every drop back?
Look, I have my own opinions, but I like to keep them to myself until after the game. All I said, Gunner looked great for the record. I loved what it looked like. I just thought Puglisi looked better in the snaps he played. Simply put, I thought Puglisi came in, could run about as good as Gunner, and passed a fuck lot better.
Why'd they give up a touchdown at the end of the game?
Huh?
Why'd they give him a touchdown at the end of the game?
Well, my buddy took a really sick picture of the touchdown, so I'll just say it was for the picture, honestly. Like,
all right, I'm going with the Chiefs tonight. You got your 5 games for tomorrow all lined up. Not a great slate, which means something absolutely crazy is going to happen. It's probably not going to be Grambling State beating Ohio State, but be careful out there.
Should we do a prediction for it? Like
the Ohio State game or the Chiefs game?
No, like just one of the games. You know, I think if there was any game where something crazy happens, it could be Mississippi State beating Arizona State. That's a touchdown spread. That's not. Never mind. But if I could see them winning that game out of any of the options, that's a top 12th ranked team in the country. Mississippi State is unanimously the worst SEC team. I could see them winning that game.
There you go. Well, that'll be your level of crazy. I'm going to do a pod Sunday morning, go through all these games. I better be at least 1-1. I think I'm going to have a handful of bets tonight because I like the Chiefs. I think they're going to score a bunch of points. There we go. I'm talking myself into it, so I blame you if something goes wrong because you had an opportunity.
I have Butker to kick a couple field goals. I feel like that's like if anything's going to happen, he's going to kick. And outside of that, the weirdest bet I've ever made in my life, Amarion Hampton to have 5+ rushing yards in each of the quarters of the game. I like it. I don't think it's a blowout to the extremes where you're going to see Jim Harbaugh stop running the ball, and I think Hampton's going to get a pretty sizable carry load for the game. His rushing yard line's at like 46.5. If there's smart money, it's definitely not on those bets, but I like Kansas. I like KC too. The line just moved for me. Just went up
to
to minus 3.5. Yeah.
I figured that was going to happen. I said it when I was 2.5 as soon as Slater got hurt. Even though I thought the game
plus money though.
That's the thing. I say this all the time. I don't mean to be condescending by saying it kind of at the end as if everybody should know this. But if you are betting a line, you can just get whatever spread you want. You just have to pay the juice. You just buy. They're going to let you move the spread a couple of points one way or the other. So if you really want to bet the Chiefs tonight, you get them at 2.5, or you do the money line. You don't bet them at -3. You definitely don't do it -3.5. If you love the Chiefs, if you absolutely love them, then you can sure pay the extra juice. And maybe there's an alternate line where the Chiefs are -10.5 or something like that. Sure.
Like a quarter of a unit on it, just like.
Yeah, but you don't need to be like, oh my God, is the line 3? Is it 2? It's like, dude, just buy the juice. At the end of the day, there's just how many games end up at 1 or 2 points. It just doesn't make sense. So I took the Chiefs on the money line, and I took the Chiefs minus the 2.5 because I felt like I feel really good about it. As far as going the alternate line, it's a blowout. I don't know.
I don't love it at all. I think like if you wanted to, I think that this game probably stays within a possession, but like Chiefs up to like maybe 6.5, I can see definitely happening if they're gonna win.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't tease it the other way. I wouldn't take the Chargers plus 9.5.
No.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I agree.
Sweet. All right. I shall see you next week. See everybody else Sunday morning, early Sunday morning, super early. And cool. All right. Have a good weekend. Have a good night, everybody.
Hey, I see you.